as we've said, Bernie Sanders has a tough road ahead as he tries to catch up to Joe Biden with pledged delegates. Steve Kornacki is at the big board with a look at the path and the math. So, Steve, what is it?
Yeah, take a look here. If you're Sanders, the numbers are not very friendly to you. Right now, the running delegate tally here, this is a gap of 147 delegates. Biden leads Sanders by 147 delegates at this point. Now, they still have a few dozen to count up from last night. Washington, Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi. A few more are going to come in from California as well. But really, we expect when all is tallied, it's going to look pretty much like this. This Biden number might grow a little bit, might get to 150, might get up to 160. But that's roughly what Sanders is going to be looking at when everything is counted up. The problem for Bernie Sanders is that's a lot to overcome in general, and especially when this is what he's looking at next week. These 4 states are coming up: Florida, Ohio, Illinois, and Arizona. These are all big states. These are all big delegate states. And just take a look inside some of these states. Look at Florida. This was a disaster for Bernie Sanders in 2016. He lost Florida to Hillary Clinton by 31 points. There have been multiple polls out in the last couple of weeks showing Sanders trailing by this much against Joe Biden. If you look at the demographics of Florida, who has Bernie Sanders struggled with for 4 years consistently? Older voters. That's a huge problem for him in Florida. All sorts of demographic landmines for him in Florida. If you look at Ohio, Ohio was already a problem area for Bernie Sanders in 2016. He lost that state by 14 points to Hillary Clinton in 2016. If you start looking at all the ground that Biden kind of improved on over Clinton in Michigan last night, and you start to look at some of the places in Ohio where that might apply, you see an opportunity for Biden to do even better than Clinton did. You look out in Arizona, the margin there was double digits in 2016. Sanders got, you can see here, 40% of the vote in Arizona. He lost by almost 20 points in 2016. So these states right here, if he's down about 150 or 160 delegates going into next week, and he suffers a landslide loss in Florida, a double-digit loss in Ohio. Illinois was close in 16, but again, if he slips like he did in Michigan, he could lose a bunch of delegates there. He could lose all 4 states, and he could fall 350 delegates behind, something like that in the delegate race. And the problem there, Katie, is to make that up, you don't just have to win states, you have to win big states. And you don't just have to win big states, you have to win big states by landslides. That's what we're seeing Joe Biden do. He's getting landslides in a bunch of good-sized states here. Michigan, I think, counts as a landslide for him last night. It's a 17-point margin. That's how Biden's been able to build this delegate lead. The only way Sanders can erase it is wins by huge margins in big states. And you just haven't seen him right now be able to do that really anywhere.
Steve, if he wins decisively in New York and Oregon, or if he gains a ton more delegates than expected in California, is there a way for him to make that up?
Yeah, the problem is, you mentioned California. This was the big hope for the Sanders campaign. We haven't actually called the state. You see, it takes them weeks, literally weeks, to get all the vote tallied. But by the way, it's a 7-point margin right now. Sanders 34, Biden 27. What you're seeing is that vote that was cast on primary day, March 3rd in California. That is, Biden is getting a big advantage out of that. He's been closing this gap with Sanders. It's actually inside of 7 points if you look at decimal places. The Sanders campaign at one point was hoping to win California by 20 points. They were hoping to keep Biden under 15% and deny him delegates. Instead, when you allocate everything from California, it's just not going to be the huge advantage that Sanders was thinking they were going to get from it 2 weeks ago.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.